Public protector, of course, is telling us that she feels that overall there's been just one-way street attack against her. What are your views? There was a hand right there at the back. Where's the mic? Let me first see where's the microphone. Over there. Okay, give that gentleman the microphone. Not you, sir. You. And then I'm going to come down like this, okay, so you're all going to speak. And you, yes, please go ahead. Sound, please. Mics.
Okay, thank you, the panelist. My question is directed to the Stratcom agent there, insulting the public protector. The first question which I want to ask you...
Sorry, what did you say?
Thank you to the panelist there. My name is Zanoku Shemayapi, and my question is strictly directed to the Stratcom agent there.
Is that me now?
Insulting the public protector in full view.
Who's the Stratcom agent?
You say the public protector has no powers to recommend a review of the Constitution, whereas you yourself as an analyst, you are making judgments on what happens in society and such without even analyzing the facts. Secondly, Stratcom still exists and we are seeing it in full view, and the sad thing is that they are using even black political analysts. I want to make my own recommendation, which I think the public protector should endorse, and that you should be perhaps sent into a circus as a clown, because you do well as a clown than being an actual political analyst. Because your political analysis is based on politics, not politics, but Popey's politics, which has nothing to do with reality.
Unfortunately, maybe
also,
she's right.
I want to applaud to public
All
protector
media.
for strong taking the cabal head on. Mamuini Mandela faced the same brutality which you are facing. Be strong. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yes, sir. Yeah, noted. We'll come to all of you.
Okay, thank you. My name is Sisi Posola. One has to agree there are valid points that are raised by both parties. Let's start off on the point of biasness. Well, one can't deny that the media to a certain extent can be biased. I think there's a general consensus on that. And again, we've seen the media attacking the public protector. I think we should start asking ourselves, what is that attracts the media to the public protector? I think that's most important. Now, before even the advocate Busi come and portray herself as a victim, not to say she's not, but I think there are questions that she needs to ask herself as to how did we get where we are? What has been my contribution so that I'm here today? Again, I think this is where I disagree with her. She can't divorce herself from the office of the public protector. Now, I think what needs to happen from the side, she then has a responsibility to go and make an assessment and make sure that there's an evaluation in the office, because one day she can't divorce Advocate Busi from the public protector. Everything that we get that says is coming from the public protector, we automatically align it to her. So she can't choose when she wants to be a public protector or not. Now I think now what is important is it's a responsibility from your side to go and make sure that she assesses those investigative people that are in the office, so that, because whatever comes out, it comes and paints the image of the entire office. I think she can't really divorce herself. I think she needs to go back and to what is that I need to do to make sure whatever comes out of that office is a true reflection of what we are saying collectively in that particular office.
Sure. Thank you.
Can I finish quickly?
Oh, okay. Please.
Thank you. Lastly, it's a challenge to all of us now. How do we protect public institutions that are meant to protect our people from being used as a battlefield for political fights? If it can happen to the public protector, it can happen to the judges tomorrow. And where does that put the citizens of this country? Thank you.
Okay. Where's the other microphone? Yes, please give to the gentleman.
Hi. I want to comment or at least ask a question around the...
You can ask question, make comment, whatever's your preference.
So the question is related to the media ownership. I think the public protector and Prince Mashele has also highlighted the effect of ownership of media to our media. So the question is, do you think that the Ramaphosa leaks or the CR leaks would have been possible in our media if there was no diversity in our media? In other words, if the dominating media ownership structure the way it was before, do you think that we would have had the CR17 leaks today?
Okay, thank you. All right, and the people with the mics, we're walking down, so please don't pass anybody who raised their hand. Let's take another hand here. Yes, sir.
Thanks, program. Are you a program director, JP, or a facilitator?
I'll be both today.
Yeah, thank you very much for this opportunity, and I thank you very much the contribution that we have gotten from our panelists. We really appreciate the vigorous engagements that you have given to us. Just a 2 cents contribution to what you have shared with us. Firstly, I want to depart from the point that my colleague has echoed, that perhaps it is important for us to ask ourselves what it is that attracts many parties into the Public Protector's Office. Let's look at the cases. Who are the people who are involved in these cases? To what extent do these people have the power to fight for themselves in ensuring that whatever it is that is against them is not in the interest of what the perpetrator is trying to achieve? Because what we're not going to run away here, panelists, is that we are in a society that is captured. And we can't normalize it and behave as if we are in a society that is normal. Some of the things which are happening, yes, we know them that they are incorrect, but we behave as if that they happen because they have to happen. For an example, if you are saying there were many cases which were issued by the public protector, let's have an interest in the cases which were taken to court for the review. And why? And ask ourselves why those cases were taken for the review. Lastly, I heard the issue of impartiality, and then the panelist next to you, JP, mentioned the issue of political parties siding with the public protector or whatsoever. I think the public protector, on an honest note, she has no power of saying who they must side with her or not. I mean, if I believe that the public protector today has written something that makes me to be excited, I'm going to go out on social media and say, Busim Kwabane, she's a leader, she's that and that and that and that. I think she has no control of that. And that cannot be termed as if that is impartial. It can't be. So I think to some certain extent, yes, there might be flaws in the office of the private protector, but ourselves as well, let us be honest about the issues which are faced by that office and apply our critical analysis into those issues. Thank you very much.
Sure, thank you. Yeah, okay, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to suppress anybody, but I want us to have a way forward. So when the mic comes down, it's not going back. All right, otherwise we're not going to finish today. Yes, sir.
Thanks to the panelists. Greetings to the House at large, all protocol observed.
Now just speak into the mic and be bold.
No problem. My name is Mangali Sonompula. Mine is very simple. I think Comrade Prince, in your view, which media houses favor or protect white monopoly capital and which do not? And if there's none, mention that there's none.
Okay. So from Stratcom to Comrade, we're growing in levels.
Diversity.
Okay,
Yeah, that's diversity.
over here. I think we've got like 7 hands.
On
Right?
one wing.
Thank you very much.
Want to take 3 more?
My
Yes.
name is Ngedis. I think we should firstly go back to doing the theoretical, foundation. Because about Omar Shelley speak without theory. Hence, they make all these wild assumptions about things they know nothing about. And also, they allow themselves by default at times, by design at times, to be bulldogs of white monopoly capital. So I would like to say to Mama Public Protector, you are under attack because you have started to peel away at white monopoly power at the level of the economy and are asking difficult questions about ownership, about who gets to be protected, which bodies matter. And we are saying as young people, we shall not allow another Winnie Mandela situation to befall your office, not just you, your office. Because this is not just about Busim Kweban, it's about the office of the Public Protector and what it's about. Thank you very much.
Okay. Madam President, I'll take you last. Yes.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Azania Chali. I am the president of UWC. First of all, I would love to thank UWC Media for this beautiful launch and of course for inviting our Reverend Mother here today. But without wasting any further time or any further ado, I just have a problem, first of all, with your sentiments and comparing the Public Protector with Medunsa. And then when you make this assumption that it's a beautiful snake, but when you look into it, it sort of deceives you, which is a very sexist position. And that's exactly what we're trying to dismantle in this society. But what I want to ask specifically with the Public Protector, first of all, how do you cope in this sexist, white, and patriarchal society that in which we exist in, and especially your office that is currently under attack? Another question I want to ask to the Public Protector is that, we've seen a trend, of course, within the Chapter 9 institutions, specifically the PP's office, right? 1995, Selby becomes the Public Protector. 2005, Lawrence becomes the Public Protector. Thereafter, Prof. Thuli Madonsela, and then there's you. But there is a phenomena which I pick up when it comes to Thuli Madonsela and yourselves, which is then your offices or the offices in which you are trying to occupy or occupying currently, and especially as black women, are sort of being undermined, and they are undermined by these running dogs of imperialism, whom on daily basis are always striving and making it a point that the Oppenheimers, the Stratcom continue to exploit black people. They continue to take our resources. So I think also, Omashile, what you guys are doing, it is very problematic because it also proves that in this country, there are no political analysts. It further proves the point that in this country, there are no journalists. Because if you look, therefore, I'm going to make 2 examples for you. There's social media, and then there's print, electronic, and the other media. But precisely if you look at this white monopoly capital media, that which you sort of praise, and glow about, and when you look in social media as to how the Public Protector is portrayed, it certainly shows you that the media of this country, it is very biased, whereas the people at grassroots level who are feeling and who are still feeling the lived experience that the white monopoly capital put ourselves into, and they are still continuing banamhlanje abantu abamnyama bahlale buqwayibeni. We've seen it in Marikana. The only problem here is that to advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane is touching the running dogs of imperialism that are protected by the Oppenheimers, and we know that is not a secret in this country.
Okay.
But lastly,
All right.
Lastly, Advocate Mkhwebane, I want to assure you this: the women bloc of this country, the women bloc of UWC, is faithfully and will always be behind you, because you are touching a nerve and you are touching something that we've always advocated for. And I'm going to reiterate it and say this again. The media, it is very much biased. We saw it during FISMA's fall time, but it was only after FISMA's fall time that the very same media came out and said that there were students who were paid millions of rands while others were protesting and making it a point that as a student are fed, as a student have free education and decolonized education. So, Prince Mashilo, you need to go back to the basics, which is to read and read and read and read. Thank you.
All right. Okay, just hold on with the mics. So, advocate,
Yes,
the story here is that you are touching at the nerve of, I suppose, is the economic disparities of this country and the levels of division on the side of the disenfranchised. This is why you are under attack. What's your take?
Thank you,
on this and whatever other comments you have?
Thank you, JP. Let me start with what they've indicated earlier. The narrative that it's many court judgments is not many court judgments. Currently, we only have 2 judgments against the public protector. The others where we didn't oppose.
Which 2 are those?
Where the 2 ones. In fact, there were 2. It was the CX matter, which was before the Concord. That one is done. There were 2, and then the Friede matter. The Friede matter also now we've appealed because the process is not compared. So the Constitutional Court one is done, and then the Friede matter is the one which is ongoing. So, and then they also didn't deal, as I said to you, it's technicalities. The ABSA Bangkok loan is still being owed till today. But then you find people who are fighting this constitutional institution about side issues. And as people or as blacks or people who are still living in poverty, unemployment and inequality, I would say blacks because those are the people who are subjected to that, can benefit from that illegal loan, where 2 judges indicated as well that that was an unlawful loan. So there is collusion of the media houses, especially the mainstream media, Prince Mashele. When you say they don't sit and discuss, I know they sit and discuss. And the way they are colluding, one will publish the article and then all of them will publish that. I can show you examples. Well, it's one thing because anyway, it depends on which one you work for or which one you are supporting. The issue of political party siding, I think they've answered you. I'm not there. I told you, I operate in a political space. I don't control who's supporting me. But the very same EFF, you've seen several times, there was a stage when they were attacking me as a person, then they have changed. I don't have control over that. They are fighting for the constitutional institution. I think that's what is very critical for all of us to do, because it's not about me, it's about the Chapter 9 institution, which I think, Baba, you were saying I never separated myself. I'm the public protector, I'm not separating that's what the media or even the very same other political parties are trying to do, hence separating me to the institution. And I never said I'm blaming my official. I was trying to show you that I'm working with a very capable team, because when you attack this public protector, as if our reports are shoddy, we have a team which works on these particular reports, and I take full accountability. I can't come now and say that personal cost order should be issued against the investigators who investigated the matter, because showing that I'm the one, the buck stops with me, which I acknowledge fully. So the issue of the touching the untouchables, I said it in my address. My issue or my sin started when I investigated. I issued the Bangkok report. Yes, my predecessor investigated that. It was for the past 7 years. I then made sure we deal with the backlog issues. It's one of the reports which I've issued. But now the Reserve Bank, no one is checking. I'm not attacking the independence of the Reserve Bank, but I'm saying the Reserve Bank should be working in such a way that it benefits the masses, the poor and the marginalized. So when you check in other countries, go and read that report. If you can go and read that report. I'm comparing there's a comparative study we've done showing most of the countries, their Reserve Bank mandate is not in the constitution. South Africa, we were done disservice by putting that in the constitution. Because when you put the Reserve Bank mandate in the constitution, there's nothing you can do. Your US, your New Zealand, everyone, they are having it as part of the national legislation. Then you change that legislation as and when the needs of the country are demanding. Then that's where my challenge is also started, because you are touching the nerve and you are touching people who have resources. I've said it several times, Prince, that I'm not even generalizing. I don't know why you think that when I say media, the very same ones I've mentioned. Currently, we depend a lot on social media as an office. Currently, that's why I have to issue sometimes a YouTube message just to pass across the message which I would want to pass. We were investigating the so-called Rogue Unit report. We are based on evidence. There is a lot of proof which we have in that report. But when that report is taken to court, then you find members of the executive who are supposed to support this constitutional institution. It's not about me, again. It's about our constitution. If you respect it, then you label this particular public protector with all those names. The fact of the matter is we are there for the poor, for the marginalized, who don't have the resources to take us to court. Then that's where a lot of media attack again started, and even attack to my person, Prince. I've said it several times. The issues of threats to poison me, the issues of threats which were there to even silence me, arrest. And I've got evidence to that particular effect, because you are touching people who are not supposed to be touched. And the very same Rogue Unit, there are people who have been murdered. And I've got evidence of that the people were killed for doing that. So unfortunately, and now attacked by some of the structures in this country, that this public protector must be removed. They don't know what they are doing. Just because I said sometime that I know things which I'm not supposed to know about them. I'm glad that some of the information now is coming out that some people were protecting the monies which they received, because they know that this person has investigated and we might be revealed. Therefore, this person must be removed and we have to taint her image. Issue a Stratcom. It was very clear. There's evidence. That journalist or that person who was saying 40 of them were called and they said, let's make sure that we publish any negative info. We discovered after the passing of Mama Winnie Mandela that now we get all these things after she has been tarnished and tainted. But it's so unfortunate that we allow ourselves to be used. Because who owns the media houses? Who owns it? Are we as black people owning the media houses? Are we telling our stories? So I think, Prince, well, there are some things which are questionable as well. If we can make sure that we just do these things for the benefit of the people at the grassroots. Okay. And I'm here defending those people. It's not about me. So I think that's all I can say.
All right. We're going to have to start to move towards closure, okay? So what we're going to do now, we're going to take a few more comments.
I thought there were questions for me.
I'm going to give you a chance to speak.
Comrade.
But
No, we're going to give you a chance to speak because nobody's going to be suppressed. Well, I'm going to take last few comments here, all right? Can I see the hands towards the front? No, I'm not taking hands at the back. I'm sorry. Are there any hands at the front? Okay, there's one hand over there. Where's the microphone? And with this light, I can't really see properly. No, over there, behind. Yes.
Okay, so hi everyone. My name is Ikem Kuteka. How's everyone doing today? Good. Awesome. So I think Prince Mashala, it's incorrect to say that media is not fake because all of them move in the same cabal or they all have the same news. For instance, I'm going to tell you now, social media is the only media we trust as the youth. That's the only media. We don't buy newspapers because we don't want to buy newspapers. We like to read. We read your Rupikas, we read your African books, we read. But we don't read the news because it's fake news. We're constantly telling them on Twitter. You can ask some of the people who operate some of our social media accounts. You constantly have to tell them, fix the headline, fix your clickbait because it's not working. It's not telling what the story is about. It's clickbait. And media is a business. That's why it's a business. There's someone behind it. So what does business mean? Business means there's a profit. What is a profit? Propaganda, social indoctrination. What does that mean? It means moving away from certain things. There's a profit to make. Be it is viewing the public protector in a certain eye, or be it the profit is to make students to be seen in a certain eye, or to be seen that social media is not good, or we don't control the narrative as the youth, or the youth is just millennials, you know? And for instance, to see the power of how the media is fake, the word rogue unit now that the advocate used, that's from the media. We use the word rogue unit. That was a media word. It's not a rogue unit. It's a word that is made by the media. So to say that the media is victimizing her when it is, as a black woman, to go to her mom, who's another black woman, to try and put down that, or to say her shoes or anything of that matter, you know, she was telling you here, is incorrect, sir. It's incorrect. That's why your celebrities as well, they shy away from that. That's why your politics, your parliamentarians, they won't answer to that. Because it's a business. There's to make a profit and to sell a story. That's the gist of it.
All right, I think point well made. Where's the other mic? Over here, yes.
Thank you. My name is Musuli. I think my point will just touch on what she just said about the media being a business and at the end of the day having to sell and having to make money. I think the other battle is between questioning the credibility of the public protector and the credibility of the media. And as the panelists had already debated earlier on, that in the media they are not always partial and they are never neutral. So now, according to your logic, if you have admitted that the media is impartial and is not neutral, do you honestly think that, are you honestly going to take their word for it once they start painting the public protector in another brush and portraying her as the person that is going to lead the public protector office to its demise? And the other question is, of course, if she is investigating the people that are owning those newspaper companies, the companies are obviously going to print something to try and discredit her reputation and to try and discredit her. And if one company publishes something bad about her, the other one will want to hitch onto the ride. They won't go against that company and publish something good about her. It's about selling. If the topic at hand right now is how she has messed up or how she has lost the case, there's no media company that will go and try and protect her, because at the end of the day, it is a business and it has to try and sell.
Okay, point taken. Over there, please. Where's the mic? Just the microphone that side. No, there shouldn't be mics at the same side. Come on, guys. All right, let's take that.
Thank you, JP.
Yes, please just speak in the microphone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Oh,
yes.
Okay. My name is Sibu Sisonyame. I actually work with the public protector. I thought I should rise and express this appreciation. You know, I work with the public protector. There are attacks that she is consistently subjected to. She comes to the office every day showing that smiling face despite the attack. But today, I think what she takes here is only excitement. You know why? Because the young revolutionaries of this country can see beyond Mashele and company. You see, that is very nice. Justice and democracy is this, where you see the majority not agreeing with you, Mashele, despite your titivated English, you know, but they don't agree with you. That is justice. And I say, public protector, we are going to take this experience to the office and tell the soldiers down there what we have seen in the young lions of this country, that understand where we are coming from, that have got theory. Because when I listen to you, Mashele, You are ahistorical. That student has told you. I think and hope you learn from this.
Okay.
You need to be historical in your analysis. If you lack history, you don't know where you are coming from. You wouldn't know where you are. And if you think in terms of the stomach, you are not going to get anywhere. Can I just close by saying this to you students? The future of this country is in your hands. What do we see in the office? The cases that we are dealing with, the capture is not what you are told is the capture. We know the capture. If we can sit down and tell you what capture is, you'll be shocked. That's why you're not going to go to the class tomorrow. Don't listen to the marshalists who've got distorted logic. Read, analyze, and from the facts, deduce and take evolutionary positions. And
This is your last comment.
Yes, it is my last comment. Just to conclude, perhaps I should pause here. Thank you.
Thank you for pausing. All right. There was actually another hand that side. He doesn't want to speak anymore. Okay. Please try to be brief, guys. Well, time is not on our side anymore.
Mamubusi, qala igama lami ndongaza ndisuka eGugulethu. Ndizawuqala ngokuthi qala. Ungumamni kanele Xolo. Ungumamni.
Baba, please make your comment or ask your question and move the mic. Yeah, and there's a request that you please try English or someone must interpret that.
Okay, it's fine. I would just like to say, we need to, as youth, we need to really engage these kind of issues very critically. And today for me has been an eye-opener. And as much as I think for some people here it also has been an eye-opener, it should be an eye-opener. One is that when we are faced with a situation like this, when Prince sits there and he undermines someone without having second thoughts about it in her professional capacity, continues to do so, we should be very worried as youth. Two, I would also like to say with that, where is the diversity? Where? When you have the same, when you have 3 different channels reporting the same thing, where's the diversity in that? I mean, is that not a point, a case to show that there is no diversity in the media whatsoever? Okay? 3, sorry, I've just lost my piece of paper that I had with me.
I will.
Which one?
Okay, we're going to take the mic now.
Thank you. There's nothing unique about what Prince is doing here. Because the way he's acting like the way the white media wants him to act. You check most people who have been in Ms. Mkhwebane's position, where they challenge these positions of authority. You have individuals like him who will have these tones. Even in the content that they produce on paper, you will see the tones that they specifically put there to undermine continuously and humiliate all the time, and they actually go out of the way to factually overlook information.
Okay.
And they purposefully put it out there. Now, this is a very good exercise for people, for you guys to see how to uncloak an agent. He has uncloaked himself.
All right.
Because of the way he acts. Thank you very much.
Sure, thank you very much. Give that gentleman a mic then.
Thank you very much, panelist.
Excuse me?
Mine is simple public protector.
Yeah, but wait. Let one person speak. You'll get the microphone in a moment. Then nobody's going to die.
Okay. Thank you very much to the panelist. Public protector, mine is simple. I want to get your contact details which we can use to give you evidence, because this institution is infested with corruption from the level of the Vice Chancellor to the SRC. I see members of the SRC speaking nicely where they are implicated in corruption. So what you want, can you give us your contact details, whereas we can send these complaints and these allegations which are there, but then we don't have the opportunity and the platforms to send them. Many people who are representing the management are here. The vice chancellor was here, he ran away because he doesn't want the students to speak in front of him, and that's what we are subjected to. And also the media, like as you said, the media only shows one side. ANN7 was kicked out because it gave a different narrative, and that just shows you these people, like we are at a space whereas we can't even breathe. You watch the news, you are being told, wada. Now, the president of this country, Cyril Ramaphosa, who killed people in Marikana, there is nothing said. We are just commemorating Marikana now. And we are being told, no, we must move forward, forgive and forget. There was a commission. The commission which said was not just, because people were killed there, no one is arrested at this, till now.
Okay.
Tell me why in the justice system.
Right, sure. The mic is not going back, I'm afraid. There was a hand here. And this might be the last comment, actually.
Okay.
Please speak into the microphone, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Dominic, we're going to take the mic if you don't speak.
Okay. My comment or question is directed to you, Prince Mashele. I just want to find out from you, what are your thoughts about what is the future of the media in South Africa? And where do you think this animosity will end up? And on the other hand...
Just pull the mic back closer, yes.
There is a theory that was developed by Entman in 1993 called framing. He postulates that framing journalists take the prevailing circumstances and the prevailing events and give them context. And on the other hand, McQuail argues in 2005 that framing is divisible in that as much as the media use a certain frame, the audiences themselves have a way of knowing and interpretation. I want to get to this point. Do you think the South African audience is so illiterate that it cannot filter what is fed by the media? And to the public protector, I just want to find out this. She mentions that her office now resorted to social media, right? Is she making any effort, or in future perhaps, where she would initiate engagement with the media and understand and clarify certain issues? Thank you very much.
All right. Okay, I think we're coming towards the end now. I'm afraid we can't take any more hands, guys. We have to finish today. Otherwise, I'm sure we can. This is the kind of thing you can discuss for the next week, if not longer. And I also know there's an SRC election coming up. People are already talking about corruption from admin to SRC. I hope we don't get into that level of engagement. But Khalib, I want you to respond to the things that are raised, yourself and Prince, but I'm particularly interested in way forward. All things said and done, what needs to happen?
So someone here raised what I think is probably the takeaway from me, which is we need to read, analyze, and from the facts, make up our mind. All right, if there's one thing that needs to be taken away from today's debate, it's that. We need to read, analyze, and make up our minds. Because as consumers of information, that's the responsibility we owe to ourselves. As purveyors of information and future journalists and media practitioners, you need to put the readership and the listenership in that position. Now, that's it's almost a sacred duty that we must read, analyze, and on the fact, make up our mind. So I want to almost ask, how many of us sitting in this room have read the court judgments?
Show of hands.
Involving the cases with the public protector, have read the judgments and have understood and analyzed the reasoning of the courts. Okay? Because that will tell you how one approach to reading, analysis, and on the facts, making up one's mind. That's that process of the court judgment. So, at the heart of all of this is discernment. And as a user of information, I must be able to discern. So are we mature enough as users or recipients of information to make that up? When I listen to how in our engagement we rely on labeling, Stratcom agent or comrade, either of those. Both of those words carry a lot of connotation, but they're labels. And with that labeling comes a whole range of baggage that suddenly paints a person. So that's very dangerous if you're in the job of providing information, when your argument is based on labeling. Similarly, I get really concerned when someone is, for example, compared to Mama Winnie. Right? Not because, again, that's something, not that the person doesn't share some of those qualities, but the iconization and the personalization of our arguments is really problematic, because that takes away from the diversity. That takes away from the facts. The personalized attacks, I'm glad I'm sitting this side of the couch and not there. So the sort of personalized attacks on Prince, I think is hugely problematic and is at the heart even of what the public protector was saying she was feeling. Right? So that when we indulge in that practice as well, it's very problematic. So for the future going forward, there was a question that says, why the attack on the public protector? Right? It was interesting listening to what was being said. What Stratcom, the apartheid era Stratcom, was a concerted effort to capture the media and project a particular narrative. Right? So now we throw around that term, post-democracy 25 years on, and we're going to fetch that particular thing that doesn't relate to something that actually happened. So we say, oh, Stratcom still persists, because that's the narrative. And undiscerningly, we accept that. And so then we carry on our argument. That's dangerous. Why the attack on the public protector? Is this really a conspiracy to bring down the office of the public protector? And I would say no. Because when did you learn about the office of the public protector? Actually, you learned about the office of the public protector, if you are truly honest, not in Lawrence Mushwana's days, not in Selby Bakwa's days, but in the last public protector, the third public protector, because she elevated the office into one that was trusted by society. Okay? We can speak about these individuals, but the reason I think that what has come out of the public protector's office in recent times in the reports and why they are being tested is because we are all interested in the integrity of the institution. We have to be. These Chapter 9 institutions are set up to promote and protect our democracy under our Constitution. If you're not interested in that, then you should keep quiet, because our Chapter 9 institutions are critical. They are critical. And so, if those Chapter 9 institutions are undermining their mandate in the manner that has been described in some of the recent court cases, we have to be concerned. Whatever we think about the person, because Ms. Mkhwebane is correct, It is about the office. It is about the office. And there are amazing staff at the Public Protector's Office, amazingly talented lawyers and other staff. I know. I've worked with them. I know them. So, when a court says that a report from the Office of the Public Protector, that may have been worked on by other investigators, but is signed by the Public Protector, doesn't pass legal muster, we must be very careful. We must be very concerned. Okay? And Ms. Mkhwebane herself, Advocate Mkhwebane herself, must be very concerned. Why? Because the old legal principle, caveat subscriptor, let the signer beware, applies to her as well. When she signs off on that report, she says, I've done the quality control. So I must be held accountable.
Okay.
Now, when that doesn't pass legal muster, you can't blame other people. I have penned my signature. And so really the message is, when we are critical, we are critical because we need to build this democracy and the institutions that support this democracy. And we need to ensure that an important Chapter 9, like the Office of the Public Protector, is robust, is independent, and impartial, and continues to work for the Gogo Dlaminis. Right? That should be our interest. That should be our interest. And so when there are critiques that say that that's not happening, then really we should be saying, how do we help make that happen? And so that's, I think, the way going forward. The political faction fighting and all of that kind of stuff doesn't help, because the Chapter 9 institutions are meant to stand above the fray.
Okay.
If we can't trust them to do that, then we're in serious trouble. And we know the last wasted 7 years have led us down a road of being in serious trouble. So we need to rebuild these institutions. That's why we're critical.
Okay, Khalid, thanks very much. Prince?
Okay, just to clear two things. Number one, it must be placed on record that for the rest of my life, I've never worked for a media house. Just to place on record. Never worked for a newspaper, never worked for television. I don't defend the media. So that's one. Two, another important detail to clear, and it's good to clear it in the presence of the Public Protector, is that in whatever information she may have about members of Stratcom, whatever that means, she can tell you now here that my name is not part of that. Yeah, so just to clear this as well. The last thing to clear before she's here. My name is not there. The third thing to clear is this, is that she did insult me today in this debate. I also did not insult her. We had a robust engagement, which is in line with the character of a university. So that I also needed to clear. Then let me come to the way forward. Even if this way forward is taken away by 2 students, that's fine. Here is the way forward.
They might be the next president.
Wait. Here's the way forward. Never fear to be unpopular. That's number one. Number two, not everything that is done in the name of black people and the poor is for black people and the poor. That's another way forward. And I need to elaborate a little bit on this one so that you get where I come from.
I was in Zimbabwe 3 weeks ago. So I traveled from Harare all the way to Gweru, so roughly 50% of the country. In that country, when the country collapsed, those black people who were collapsing it claimed to be acting for black people and the poor. And here's the second thing that they also did. They labeled journalists who were also black agents of Western imperialism. Now, can I finish? Can I finish? Yeah. You know, when you have been to Zimbabwe, you will understand how dangerous that has been. The people who have been victimized by the people who claim to be acting for black people and the poor, you know who they are? Are black people and the poor of Zimbabwe. So the entire country has collapsed. 97% unemployment in Zimbabwe as we speak. The only people who work are politicians and public servants. The rest of the population is unemployed, almost. Now, where are Zimbabweans as we speak, black people? It is estimated that in Zimbabwe we have about, here in South Africa, we have about 7 million Zimbabweans, here in South Africa. There's hardly a part of South Africa that doesn't have a black Zimbabwean, by the way, who has fled his country. So, where am I going with this? This is where I'm coming. We need to be very careful as black people when we clap hands for people who purport to act on our behalf. Yesterday, something very serious happened in Parliament, by the way. Yeah. The president of this country has announced that South Africa is bankrupt. Yesterday. His words are, the resources have depleted. And you know what he advised us to do? He advised us to start thinking about using pension funds. You know what that means? Is the pension funds of teachers, nurses, our parents, black people. Once they are done with that, let me tell you, the NEFSAS grants that you get, you will no longer get as students. Now, as I close, here is what I'm doing.
Let's give Krantse here, please.
Please. Here is what I'm doing. It doesn't matter who takes what to which office out of what I have said. What is important is this. There must be no institution in our democratic system that does not get subjected to critical scrutiny, whether they like the critics or not. Thank you.
Okay. All right, Advocate, we're going to let you now make the concluding remarks. But I have to ask this question, though. I mean, from all the things that have been said and the negative coverage you've got thus far, is there at least one thing you can say, but on this one, I accept? The criticism is justified.
You asking me?
Yes.
Out of all what they've said?
Look, I mean, our subject here has been about the fact that the media has been giving you quite extensive negative coverage, right? And the question I'm asking is, are there at least that one incident where you say, this coverage is negative, but it is justified?
To be honest with you, I need to think about that because, I mean, I've been daily on the news for the past...
You've been in office since 2016, I think?
2016?
Yes.
Well, yes, I only get a break during December holidays. And then when I start working, there will be those. So, the one which was, Again, I'll still go back to that article by Farrell, which was, for me, it was a fair article. Well, it was not criticizing, but the questions she asked, I would say they were questions which were trying to show, maybe to the public protector, that these are the constructive criticism we are picking up. Can you tell us your side of the story? I would say possibly that article, for me, it was factual.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's give us your own concluding remarks, and I hope also on a way forward of sorts as well.
Well, my conclusion or my concluding remarks are that he asked them whether they've read the court judgments. Maybe I would also ask you, in reading those court judgments, and even yourselves here, did you read the Public Protector report in totality? For instance, have you read the CX report to understand what were we investigating, what the law is saying, what are our concluding remarks? Similar applies to any other reports which we are issuing, because again, I'm still going back to the fact that when we are taken on review, it should be on the factual issues affecting the report. For instance, the CX focused on those technicalities. I'm still saying the main issue still remains the core mandate of the Public Protector, which is to investigate, report on, and issue remedial action, but again, redress the imbalances of the past, deal with those who are prejudiced by the state or by state officials' improper conduct. So I think that's what I will also ask, that yes, in that critical reading, read the report, read the court judgment, and also understand that the very same court judgments are taken on appeal. And when they are taken on appeal, the SCA judges might come to a different judgment to that of the High Court. And again, what are the judges portraying if they are using those nonsensical languages? Because in the judicial or in the judiciary where we maintain justice, there's a decorum we need to maintain. There's the language which we need to use. But then if we will then choreograph a certain event where then one judge will be using even letters which are not relevant for that particular. So it's a question of objectivity. Those who are studying law will understand that we deal with facts and we need to be objective at all times, because the justice system currently in South Africa, it's what is still holding the glue. Because once we then move away from that and we don't have trust on our justice system, then we're going for anarchy. And there's nothing wrong again on constructive criticism of the very same judges. And I'm not saying, as I said, they are fallible as well. They might reach a certain conclusion which will be different in another court. So what has been happening is again creating the very same thing, because the question will be, do you think the public trust your institution? For me, the poor and the marginalized and the very same 90% of our bread and butter issues, our people who are lodging complaints, we are helping, they trust the institution. It's an issue of class again, because the very same issues which are in the media relates to the what we call the high profile matters, which are still matters of debate, or the court will still deal with it. Prince, I think one issue, I know you are not a media person, but I've heard that you possibly a politician, because you applied for a member of...
I'll have to respond to this one.
I don't know. So I want to know whether you are a member of the DA or what. But
I need to respond to this one.
Okay, wait.
No,
But let her
me
finish. Let her finish.
So, Yes, I was not talking to you as I know you are a political,
to
you are an
respond to this
analyst,
one.
yes.
Sure.
So that's why I'm saying, yes, we didn't attack each other. I just wanted to know whether you are a political whatever. Yes. So on the issue of what the media's role is, it's very critical because they are also helping us to have this democracy. And
Okay.
I agree with you. Criticism should be constructive. And I agree, in fact, I don't even agree with the way I'm being labeled because, again, it has those undertones of being sexist. We live in a patriarchal system. And again, somebody was even commenting that the media, again, or those papers which were saying, Busisiwe Mkhwebane against Ramaphosa, or Busisiwe Mkhwebane against Pravin Gordhan. This professor from another university was saying to me, she's a woman. Why portray her like that when it's a complaint of the DA against Ramaphosa? Why not my money against Ramaphosa? Or why not Floyd Shivambu against Pravin Gordhan? So again, we still have, being Women's Month, we still have those undertone of reflecting when it comes to a woman. But again, they will never succeed in, okay, another very interesting issue. I was telling my chief of staff that it was so, mind-boggling to hear this in SABC. There's this thing where they are showing the public protector, she be removed? And this one journalist is asking Pepela Pitube, do you think is it difficult to get rid of the public? Why use get rid? Actually, yes, the process anyway, but why can't you say the removal of the public protector in terms of the constitution? Because it says removal. Why getting rid? As if it's this, piece of person. But all these reports is just to undermine, is just to make sure that we then separate this person from this institution. But then my recommendations, which the media has been manufacturing consent, because that's what some of them are doing, so that there is this narrative which people need to. So the media needs to go back to the approaching each story with an open, inquiring mind, report factually, and we need to go back to basics, where news is reported truthfully, accurately, fairly, in a balanced way, in line with the press code of ethics, where the code is transgressed, there should be consequences. And consequences might include penalties that will force transgressors to avoid the recurrence of that. Currently, all those who are wronged, some of us, the apology will be in a second or third page, just a few, it won't be the headline story, but then if we can then compel media houses to write it in bold letters, and even the TV stations to do that, I think that's what we need to be moving towards. All what I'm saying, I welcome constructive criticism. All what I'm saying is, let's report factually, let's report what is happening, let's not sensationalize. But unfortunately, yes, we are dealing with these media houses who are in business and, negative news or propaganda sells. So I think if we can just go back to basics, that will be very helpful.
Okay,
Can I
Prince,
respond
you're
to
part
this
of a
one? Because
political
it's
party.
personal, right? So I wouldn't, otherwise I wouldn't
No, I was
respond. Yeah. You see, I have to deal with it because otherwise I wouldn't respond.
Yeah.
And it's for the first time, by the way, that I'm dealing with this DA allegation.
Yeah.
And I'm dealing with it publicly.
Yeah.
I'm glad there are cameras. Now, so that the rest of the country can see. Number one, remember I said there are certain things we should clear.
Yeah.
And I said the public protector, whatever information she has, my name is not part of the Stratcom. And she didn't deny that.
Yeah.
Can I talk? Two, it is extremely concerning that a public protector could make an allegation against me that I could possibly be a politician. When number one, let me clarify. Number one.
No, but
let me clarify.
Okay.
Number one, I have never held The last membership card of a political party that I had was before I became an analyst, and the party was the African National Congress and SASCO. Yeah. Now, there have been allegations. Let me explain what happened about the DA thing.
Okay, but briefly.
Yeah. I want to clarify it so that everybody knows. Here is what happened.
Okay, but let's listen now.
Yeah. Here is what happened. I wrote very scathing articles against the Ramaphosa regime, as I have written against Zuma and other politicians. That week, there was an operation to destroy my name. One, there was a full-page response to my article, which is fine, acceptable. Two, there was a front-page story in the Sunday World that I am a member of the DA and that there's a form I have signed. That form, I don't complain about the media because I'm not a crybaby. That form shows clearly.
Listen.
Order. I've got an objection to that.
Please.
Like I'm a crybaby.
No, I'm not referring to you.
Yes, but don't. Yeah.
I'm not. Apologies if you think it was directed. It's not directed at you.
Okay, but just answer the question.
Yeah.
Okay, but can we listen? It doesn't assist to shout. It doesn't assist anybody. Please.
Now here is the thing about that form. It has an ID number. That ID number begins with, I saw it, 2011 something, right? It is not imaginable that an old man like me could have possibly been born in 2011. but still, right? Because there was an operation to say this guy is DA. They ran with it. And the public protector, right? I'm not sure if you saw that form.
I did.
Yeah. You saw that the ID number is 2011. Yeah. No. Well, you didn't look at it because you didn't want to see that part. So here's the conclusion. I have never been a member of a political party. My last political membership was the African National Congress and SASCO. I have been recruited by all political parties, by the way, including the ANC. I have refused to join political parties. I have closed the matter.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, please big hand of applause for Advocate Prince and Khalif for blessing us with the time. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Much appreciated.
Now I know.